Hello, friends. Welcome to Easy English with Vlad. Today we travel back in time to meet the Vikings, fierce warriors, skilled sailors, and explorers of the North Sea. We will follow their exciting adventures across icy oceans, mysterious lands, and Viking villages. You will learn English while discovering how they lived, fought, traded, and explored. Get ready to sail on long ships, face storms, and meet legendary Viking leaders. Make sure to watch until the end to learn all the lessons from these incredible voyagers. In the cold and rugged lands of Scandinavia, the Vikings were born. They lived in small villages surrounded by forests, mountains, and fjords. Long houses made of wood and stone were the center of village life, where families cooked over open fires and shared stories of gods and heroes. The Vikings depended on farming, fishing, and hunting. Children learned from a young age how to care for animals, plant crops, and handle tools. Life was tough, but families were strong and communities close-knit. Legends of gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya inspired courage and honor. Vikings believed that bravery and skill would earn them glory, both in life and in the afterlife. Festivals, feasts, and storytelling kept their culture alive. Their lands were harsh and winters long, but the sea offered opportunities. The North Sea was a road to adventure, trade, and conquest. Vikings were not only warriors, they were skilled sailors, ready to face the unknown. Viking children learned skills early. Boys and girls were taught to hunt, fish, sail, and fight. They practiced with wooden swords and small shields, learning to defend themselves. Courage was praised and a fear was met with lessons of endurance. Education was also important. Children learned about Norse myths, the sagas of past heroes, and the stories of brave explorers. They learned to navigate using stars and coastal landmarks. At home, families worked together. Women managed households, farmed, and sometimes even joined in voyages. Boys prepared for future raids, building strength and learning teamwork. Every child dreamed of adventure and honor. Leonardo AI prompt: cinematic painting of Viking children training with wooden swords and shields near longhouses, parents watching, forest in background, soft light, 8th century Scandinavian style. The Vikings are famous for their longships. These sleek wooden vessels could travel quickly through rivers and across oceans. They had shallow hulls for beach landings and ornate dragon heads on the prow to scare enemies. Building a ship was an art. Carpenters used oak wood, iron nails, and tar to make them strong. Sails were woven from wool, and ropes were carefully braided. Every sailor had a role: rowing, steering, or climbing the rigging. Long ships allowed the Vikings to explore, trade, and raid distant lands. With skillful navigation using stars, sun, and landmarks, they could travel hundreds of miles in a week. Life aboard a longship was tough but exciting. Sailors faced storms, waves, and freezing winds, but the thrill of adventure kept their spirits high. Leonardo AI prompt: cinematic painting of Viking longship on the North Sea, sailors rowing, dragon head on prow, dramatic waves, storm clouds, 8th century Scandinavian style. The Vikings became famous for their raids. They sailed to coastal villages, monasteries, and towns to take treasure, food, and resources. But raids were not just about fighting. They were tests of courage and teamwork. Preparation was key. Scouts studied the land, and sailors ensured the ship was ready. During a raid, the crew acted quickly. Some fought with swords and axes, others defended the ship. Discipline and strategy often decided the outcome. Despite their fearsome reputation, Vikings also traded peacefully and respected skilled warriors. Raids were dangerous, but success brought wealth, honor, and fame. Leonardo AI prompt. Cinematic painting of Vikings raiding a coastal village, longships on shore, warriors with swords and shields, fire and smoke, dramatic soft light, 8th century style. Brave Vikings sailed across the North Sea to explore new lands. Storms tested their courage. Waves crashed over the decks, winds tore sails, and cold spray soaked them. Yet they pushed on, guided by the stars and the sun. They discovered islands, fjords, and rivers unknown to others. Each voyage taught them about ocean currents, winds, and navigation. Sailors learned teamwork, sharing tasks, and supporting each other during long journeys. Crossing the North Sea was dangerous, but every successful voyage brought honor and new opportunities for trade, settlement, and adventure. Vikings explored and settled in Iceland, Greenland, and even North America, Vineland. They built small villages, farmed, and traded with local peoples. Life was harsh. Cold climates and scarce food tested their survival skills. But Vikings adapted, hunting, fishing, and learning local techniques. They carried Norse culture, traditions, and myths to these new lands. Exploration strengthened their courage and curiosity. Every discovery expanded their knowledge and inspired future generations to explore further. Vikings were not only warriors, they were traders and storytellers. They exchanged furs, amber, and metal goods with distant lands. Markets bustled with activity as Vikings bartered for silver, spices, and cloth. Storytelling was central to Viking culture. Sagas told tales of gods, heroes, and voyages. These stories were shared around fires, inspiring courage and teaching lessons. Music, art, and craftsmanship also flourished in Viking villages. Trade and culture allowed Vikings to influence Europe, connecting distant lands and spreading knowledge, while keeping their unique identity. Vikings were led by legendary figures like Ragnar Lothbrok and Leif Erikson. Ragnar was known for bravery and strategy, leading raids and inspiring loyalty. Leif Erikson explored west, reaching Vinland centuries before Columbus. These leaders were skilled warriors and wise planners. They earned respect through courage, fairness, and vision. Their stories became legendary, showing the power of leadership and daring exploration. Over time, Christianity spread, and European kingdoms grew stronger. Viking raids declined, and many settled peacefully in conquered lands. Trade, alliances, and diplomacy replaced raids. Despite the end of the Viking Age, their legacy lived on. Their voyages connected continents, spread culture, and advanced navigation techniques. Historians study their courage, exploration, and resilience. The Vikings teach us about courage, exploration, and teamwork. They faced danger, traveled unknown seas, and adapted to harsh environments. For learners today, their story is inspiring. It shows curiosity, skill, and determination can overcome challenges. Vikings left a mark on history, showing that even the smallest village can produce world-changing explorers. Thank you for joining us on the Vikings' incredible journey across the North Sea. We saw storms, long ships, brave leaders, and distant lands. Remember, courage, teamwork, and curiosity can help you explore new things, just like the Vikings. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications for our next adventures in history and English.